speaker of the day. But thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. My name is Michael Feldman. I work on Amazon's international public policy team based at our headquarters in Seattle. And along with my colleague Jamie over there, we work on spectrum policy. But before discussing spectrum sharing, given that we're here in Geneva, I thought it might be useful to talk a little bit about some important statistics on Amazon's broader investments in Europe, maybe just to give an idea of the sort of scope and scale that we work at. So Amazon's been operating in Europe since 1998. We employ more than 220,000 permanent staff across the continent, representing more than 100 different nationalities in a variety of corporate roles, of course, including in software development, product management, engineering, as well as in our operations teams, in our fulfillment centers, sort centers, and delivery stations. We currently have 9 dedicated online stores in Europe. So those are in the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, the Netherlands, Belgium, Sweden, and Poland. And then recently we announced the launch of our 10th store in Europe, which will be in Ireland. So Amazon.ie is going to come online next year in 2025. And just some, other pretty crazy stats. We've invested a total of 215 billion US dollars in Europe. And of course, we're a bit unique in terms of technology companies because when we build significant amounts of infrastructure. In Europe alone, we have 350 logistics sites, as well as corporate offices in 60 cities, including here in Geneva. 60% of the goods that are sold on Amazon are sold by third-party sellers, many of which are small and medium enterprises. And more than 275,000 of those are SMEs in Europe that are selling on Amazon stores. And that alone supports an additional 250,000 jobs across Europe. And looking more specifically at the European Union, our contention is that Amazon is a very key driver of the single market in the EU, and we help this single market to thrive. We've created opportunities to partner with governments and industry to facilitate the free movement of goods and services across Europe. And just a very recent example is this month, we launched something called the Export Central tool, which allows sellers across Europe to, in 3 clicks, essentially reach any customer in 39 countries in Europe, which means that they don't have to register new accounts. So a small seller in Ireland, for instance, can register with this tool in 3 clicks and be able to sell to a consumer somewhere else on the continent, like Italy or Poland. Okay, now to why connectivity matters for Amazon. So at Amazon, everything we do for customers is built on connectivity, including wireless technologies enabled by Spectrum. And as part of this, we're committed to developing innovative processes, innovative wireless devices and services, rather, for customers to enable and expand affordable connectivity. So we have a few various uses or Spectrum use cases, rather, that I'll talk about that require access to unlicensed, shared, and licensed spectrum. So for instance, Project Kuiper, which I'll delve into more in a bit later, that's our low Earth orbit, or LEO, satellite broadband project to bring affordable, low latency internet satellite broadband to customers and communities around the world, particularly in remote areas of the world. We also build, of course, services and devices like Echo, our Alexa devices, Kindle, Ring, Fire TV. All of these improve critical in-home connectivity, including Wi-Fi, and other technologies that run over unlicensed spectrum. For enterprise customers, AWS, Amazon Web Services, launched its private 5G service using the CBRS band and integrated private wireless services that are partnering with Spectrum licensees. And then we also leverage Spectrum in our operations. So for example, this includes the Amazon Prime Air delivery drones, whose use is being expanded now. We've got pilot projects in 2 locations in the US, but we're also expanding to here in Europe to the UK and Italy. And these leverage unlicensed spectrum for radar technologies to detect and avoid objects. These things are really cool, by the way. So in about an hour, you'll be able to click buy now and have a product delivered by a drone in your backyard. But as these drone operations grow, dedicated licensed spectrum for safety critical capabilities such as command and control and the ability for these drones to detect objects, they'll help enable our drone operations to scale in a major way. I also want to point out that our fulfillment centers, our large logistics sites, the average size of which is 800,000 square feet, and we have over 100 across the world, these rely on Wi-Fi. And so the robotics, all of the technology that's used in those sites relies on Wi-Fi. So these are just a few examples of how Amazon and our customers rely on spectrum in a variety of forms and why the topic's so important to us. So access to spectrum, it's essential for our customers, and spectrum sharing enables new innovative users and promotes competition. So as technology advances and new and innovative spectrum sharing technologies are developed, it's important that we regularly evaluate the use of this valuable asset. And what may have been the best approach 5 or 10 years ago certainly might not be the best approach today. And with new coexistence frameworks, it isn't necessarily about taking from one user and reallocating it to another, but instead it's how to expand access to this valuable resource in a way that works for a variety of spectrum users and use cases. And we're already seeing how these frameworks, along with technology advances, and it maximizes the use of spectrum for multiple commercial users as well as commercial and, as we just heard, national security users within the same band. And recent examples of success in this include where Wi-Fi users successfully coexist with incumbents, and in CBRS with shared licensed use. So in both cases, it was possible to expand the use of existing spectrum bands, further maximizing the value and the benefits for customers. And it's important here to remind everyone that, of course, in many countries in the world, the US included, the whole 6 gigahertz band to Wi-Fi has been opened, and it has not created any issues for incumbents. In the US alone, there's more than 100,000 fixed links, but not one proven instance of interference has been recorded. And we ardently believe at Amazon that delays in Europe to opening the entire band run the risk of stifling innovation on this continent. So licensed exempt spectrum, as I just said, it's critical for innovation, and it underpins many of the technologies that consumers and businesses, including Amazon, use and rely on every day. And it also carries an overwhelming, as we know, majority of, and growing majority of internet traffic. As mentioned, Amazon customers increasingly rely on unlicensed technologies, particularly indoors, to shop on Amazon.com, but also to connect all of their various Amazon devices. So these are the Kindles, the Echo devices, and the Fire TVs. Unlicensed spectrum has enabled a variety of uses, not to mention smart home innovations. This includes gesture recognition, things like health and wellness applications, including sleep monitoring, but also audio streaming to hearing aids, as well as cochlear implants. And unlicensed spectrum needs we've observed at Amazon, they're growing. And many other Amazon businesses and our customers are going to rely on the allocation of unlicensed spectrum to keep pace with this demand. So in Europe alone, and I think my colleague from Meta also had the same statistic, but the growth of fixed data traffic is expected to be about 5 times that of mobile data traffic, which in 2023 accounted for about 11% only of total data traffic in the EU. I promised I'd talk a tiny bit about Kuiper. So Project Kuiper, as I mentioned, it's Amazon's initiative to increase global broadband access through a constellation of over 3,200 low Earth orbit, or LEO, satellites around the planet, which will be operating in the shared Ka band. And the mission of Kuiper is to deliver fast, affordable broadband to unserved and underserved communities around the world. Around 2.6 billion people in the world lack broadband access, and these LEO satellites are going to have the ability to provide this broadband to the unconnected without needing to invest in very expensive deployments to remote corners of the world. LEO satellites have very different needs to GSO satellites. So spectrum sharing rules in space must also ensure that all commercial users can access spectrum and not just the incumbent GSOs. As technology evolves, I think it's also now possible to extract more value out of spectrum. And this is the case, for example, with how GSO and non-GSO systems share the spectrum. The point here being that big technological improvements over previous years should be taken into account in the regulations so that more spectrum can be achieved without impacting the old ones. And it's going to take a variety of technologies to efficiently and effectively connect people around the world. So the question is, what can regulators do? Broadly enabling technologies and different types of providers to access spectrum will best serve connectivity goals. In particular, technologies that are designed to coexist can promote multiple different use cases, and that can lay the groundwork for innovation. Dynamic spectrum sharing technologies have opened new opportunities for a diverse set of users and applications, and they enable multiple different tiers of users. Many connectivity technologies are complementary, and they require a holistic view as policy decisions around the world get made. For example, LEO satellites, the low Earth orbit satellite solutions, can provide a backhaul for wireless providers to extend 5G networks into unserved and underserved areas, and mobile network operators can use unlicensed spectrum to offload traffic from cellular mobile devices. Finally, global harmonization of spectrum allocations and the corresponding technical rules across countries and regions can benefit everyone. License exempt access in the upper 6 gigahertz band, we think it's crucial to cost effectively bridge the digital divide, to promote innovation, to support both Wi-Fi and 5G, and to create an international operability of devices, reducing connectivity costs for consumers and for businesses. In conclusion, as Europe discusses possible political outcomes for the upper 6 gigahertz band, we should not forget that the solution needs to be end-user focused, indeed the theme of today, and allow European consumers and businesses to fully enjoy all the benefits of additional spectrum. So thank you so much for hearing me speak. Appreciate it. Thank you, Marta.